That's as far as I know.
Okay.
So, because I haven't talked to anybody about this. I've been really at home. My boss gave me the time off. So, like, I've been just healing here.
Perfect. Keep doing that. This is a lot. And being that you were kind of close to the situation, it makes it that much worse for you, you know. So if you have family support and stuff like that, that is the best thing for you, you know. And if your boss is giving you time off, then it makes it even better. Yeah. Or if you're still getting paid, but it is what it is. So, all right, I'm just going to start kind of from the beginning. How did you and Jennifer become to know each other?
So I first met Stephanie Soto. She's my best friend.
Okay. Stephanie is Jennifer's sister, if I'm not mistaken. Okay.
And I'm pretty sure we met in middle school, but we got really close in high school.
Okay.
And then getting close, like, you meet family. I met her mom, and her stepdad, and, like, her little sister. Then met Jen. At some point, once we graduated, all three of us moved in together. And I think we lived together for maybe 9 months, 10 months. Like, I was like 18, 19. And then Jen got pregnant with Maddie, and then she moved out. And then we all took our separate lives, but we stayed close. And because we ended up having children the same age, we kept the kids together. So Maddie was one of my son's first friends.
Okay.
So, because my son is 12, Maddie's just turned 13. So that's kind of, in that process of raising kids together, like, you kind of form like a sisterhood. And with Jen, I always felt a little bit close because we shared just, I guess, similar struggles, like with anxiety. And like, I feel like she was able to share with me, like I was able to share with her, like, just anxieties of motherhood sometimes, you know.
She's easy to talk to.
Yeah, and I felt like naturally, me as a person, I'm very much like, I want my peoples to do good. Like, I don't want anybody around me to fail, because that's a reflection of who you are. So even throughout this entire time, I've been helpful, like, just trying to, like, help the family as much as I can. That's just the personality that I am. So I kind of gravitated to her because I felt like she needed that too, you know? So at some point, I needed a place to stay. I was, having lived on your own and then having to come back home. You crave wanting to have your own space at some point. And Jen had the room available, and I still happened to be a master, so I don't have to share a bathroom with anybody. And that's how we get to the point where I'm there. But our friendship spans from, like, since I first met her.
Gotcha.
We just kind of, like, developed that. Because I was best friends with her sister, and till this day, like, she was her sister.
When did you move into the place in Venetian Bay?
2000, I feel like I almost made it 2 years. In January, it would have been 2 years.
Okay, so 2022-ish? Okay. When you moved in, who all was living in the house?
Jen, Maddie, there was and I never call her name. I'm very much, like, in my own world always, but she was, like, an older lady, maybe like 30. I'm sorry. I forget how old I am sometimes. Sorry. But she was, like, maybe 39. By 2 years ago, I was moved in. I was 2 years. So I was 32. So she kind of seemed older to me, but she was always to herself, hardworking. And then Angelica, which she lived right next to me. And then myself. So we have 4 females, essentially.
Okay.
Live together.
At any point between 2022 and now, did anybody move out and move in?
The older lady.
Okay.
She moved out.
Do you know roughly when?
I want to say, like, 6 months after, like, between 6 or 7 months after.
After you moved in? Okay.
Yeah.
So summertime of 2022-ish.
Yes. I mean, because we didn't live with her for too long after I moved in.
Okay.
And I'm thinking the span of 2 years, right? So it had to have been within the 6 months that she left.
Okay. So she moves out. Does anybody move into her room?
No. I think that they wanted to keep it open to possibly rent it out. As much as I wanted to rent it out for my son, it just wasn't something that I could do at the moment. Gotcha.
Now, I know because I've been inside the house or condo, townhome, whatever you want to call it, and I see bedrooms are numbered. So downstairs is the master bedroom. Then upstairs is 2, 3, and 4. So what number were you staying in?
2.
Okay.
Corner right. Corner left with the master bathroom.
And recently, so within the last few months, Angelica was still staying there. Do you know what room she was staying in?
Next to me, so I think she was number 3.
Okay.
Pretty sure. She was to my, when you come in, she was my right.
Okay, and was anybody staying in number 4?
So, once this lady moved out, they had it open for a good amount of time. And then, so within, I want to say the time that this lady moved out, at some point, Stefan moves in. And the reason why, so like Stefan, for like the last 5 to 7 years, I want to say, has been like, he was part of the furniture type shit. Like he was in the surroundings. So like, seeing him move in wasn't something that like, because at that point I had known about him and seen him, like it didn't seem like a big deal. I mind my business, right? Like I do my due diligence for me and my son. I can only ask that for like, the people around me. So in that situation, because he never came at me at all with anything, I stayed in my business. I stayed in my little corner. He stayed downstairs. And then at some point they break up or they have some type of issue. He needs his space or whatever the fuck. He moves upstairs.
Okay.
So, and I want to say he lived upstairs for like maybe 3 or 4 months. And then at some point he leaves. Once he leaves, I don't know what happens once he leaves. Then you start seeing him come back around just to like visit. And again, I mind my business. I'm in and out. I see him like, yo, what's up? Jen, you good? We keep it moving. Like, that was just like the everyday life, right? Like that was it. So once he starts, at some point, I guess, at some point I didn't even know he was here. Like I had no idea, but that room ends up being used for him to be able to be there and help her if like she needed help with the dogs or something like that. Again, what I'm saying now, it's what pretty much, because I didn't understand why he was here. Like I didn't know he was here. So by the time I'm being told that Maddie is gone, I'm like, well, what do you mean? Who dropped her off at school? Stefan. Okay, well, what the fuck is Stefan here? Oh yeah, he stayed there overnight. I was like, what the fuck? But anyways, so like at some point, I guess because it was open, then that allowed him to be able to have somewhere to stay with, I guess, when he was trying to help Jen with the dogs, something like that. But the point is, within the time that I stayed there, he lived upstairs for like 4 months. And then he dipped out. At any point, if they used that for him to stay at some point, if I didn't see him downstairs, I didn't know. Because I was just in and out. But from what I remember, he stayed there for 4 months, and then he left.
Okay. So before we dive into that dynamic, relationship-wise, so what was your relationship with Angelica?
So Angelica's a very nice person. She's a very cordial person. You can tell that that she comes from like a family that taught her like about her culture. She would cook a lot, and like I'm not the best cook, so like I like to learn and I like to see, and especially if the food smells good, me and my son are there, you know.
Yeah.
So it ends up being like a little bit of like because Maddie was downstairs, we ended up kind of watching her cooking together. But that's as far as it really goes, because again, you know, I'm an operation manager. I work between 40 to 50 hours a week.
Where do you work at?
It's called Integrity Reconstruction and Roofing. So we work in like plumbing and service industry, like the service, like plumbing industry. So we go to people's houses and
Gotcha.
Yeah, like fix their plumbing. But anyways, I pretty much run like 3 different departments. So I'm just always like in and out. But as far as like every time I talked to her, it was really pleasant, hi and bye. If I sat down and spoke to her, it was like we had like a Valentine's Day type of situation, because like we were all like at that point single, and like it's especially for her, she doesn't really have anybody out here, so like we just try to do something special together. And I get to know her and her situation, but it wasn't anything like, I'm not like, even to now, if I check in with her, it's just to make sure she's okay. But like, am I talking to her every day? I never really spoke to her every day. If I spoke to her, because I saw her in the kitchen cooking, essentially.
So when you would live there, you said a majority of your time was spent in your bedroom. Any point that you would hang out in the living room? I know some of the living room was partitioned off for Maddie. Did everybody kind of gather around the living room, or did everybody pretty much stay themselves in their room?
So, if we gathered, it was because either like I was cooking and Jeremiah and Maddie were watching me cook, or we were having a birthday get together or Easter get together. Like we try our best to keep the kids together throughout the occasions, just because all of us are so busy throughout the week. And when I mean us, I mean like the group of kids. It was Maddie, Aloysia, and Jeremiah. You know what I'm saying? So like those were the kids that were typically together, and Aloysia's sister.
Who's Aloysia?
It's Stephanie's daughter.
I gotcha. Okay. Yep.
So those were the moments that we would really congregate around that area. But as far as on a day-to-day, I was mostly upstairs. Because if we were home, it's because we had finished going to school, picking up the groceries, taking my son to therapy. The errands of the day were done, and our time to kind of like calm down, start our night routines. That's the time that we were pretty much home. Is during the time that we're settling down, going to sleep. Because then the next morning we're back outside. Either whether it's the weekend, we're out. We're either walking, hiking in the lakes, trying to keep ourselves busy. If I was home, it was momentarily take a nap, get ready, be out again, parents' house. So I just intentionally for my son, I try to keep myself really busy, because I work so much throughout the week.
Gotcha.
So if there wasn't really, in my eyes, the only time that we were really downstairs were when we were celebrating something or having like a special like little event or get together for the kids.
All right. So Stefan, how long? Okay, so you've lived there 2 years. Was Stefan already living there at the time, or? So I know, and like I said, he was very much, it seemed like he was part of the furniture type. Like, he was just around for so long in the background that, like, I want to say that when I started living there, he was already, like, if he wasn't moved in, he was already, like, settled in type. Would it fair to say that he was already established there? Like, clothes and... I think so, like belongings, but like really in her life, yes. Like like he, believe me, like, and it's so weird knowing just the all little stuff that I know now.
because you're around someone for so long, and it's like you don't really ever know anybody like at all. But anyways, unfortunately, seeing him wasn't something like I said, he was part of the background.
What was your relationship with him?
So I don't my only issue with him really was that throughout the time of, if they ever had like a fight or a breakup, the venting that I received from Jen was that, you know, he didn't provide at all, and he didn't so I mean, I have my expectations for someone that I'm with, and like we share those expectations, me and Jen, and he just wasn't living up to that. And it was mostly because of whatever mental health stuff. Listen, everybody has their mental health. I don't want to judge anybody, but those still got to get paid. And that was always my issue. And when I don't like to be ingenuine. So when I feel that way, I keep you at like an arm's length. Like I don't really get close to you like that. Like if I can't really fucks with you like that, like I'm not really around you being fake like that. So that was how I kept him. And again, very much part of like the scenery. Like gotcha. He didn't stand out to me. Like,
would you consider him a friend?
No.
Okay.
No, because I never spoke to him outside of the hi and bye. I never had his number. If I know anything about him, is because Jen would vent to me the issues that they would have as a couple. What
kind of issues would they have?
It's the having to, he was at the house and like, cause he lived there longer than I did for sure. So, just not bringing in money of his own, really, not being able to hold, a job and really whatever mental health issues he had, being that the crutch of why he can't do and operate.
Now, did you form this opinion prior to all of this happening within the last week, or have you talked to Jen and you kind of came up with the same?
They've been together for they were together for 5 or 7 years between that, and this is feedback from all these years.
Okay.
So once we started living together, the venting, there was no communication in regards to the relationship, just because once you start living together, I want to be able to hold the peace, and she does too, and it's hard to let someone in when you live with them like that. I don't want, if she ever needed to talk to me about anything, I know that she would. But when we started living together, we didn't talk as much as when we did when we didn't live together. I would see her every day. If we took the kids to the pool, then we had maybe 15, 20 minutes to catch up while the kids were at the pool. But we wouldn't really talk about Stefan. I think it came to a point where she had talked and vented so much to me when they finally broke up, that
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but did she come out and tell you the reason that they were breaking up is because he's not providing, or were there other reasons?
That was pretty much I think they were fighting a lot. And
what would they fight over? Do you know?
I don't know specific details. I just know that sometimes I would hear them fighting, yelling. But I couldn't really hear specific details. And then, I said, she really stopped talking to me once they got back together, because I think she felt kind of weird, her talking so much shit to me about him breaking up and then at some point getting back together. She didn't really even tell us that they were back together, to be honest with you. So at some point within the 2 years of me living there, she stopped really venting to me about Stefan and about the relationship. If there was really any issues with wanting to get a job, and I was really proud of her, because she ended up having the job at the Disney concierge, and she was doing super well, like in that mental aspect. But like it wasn't really about Stefan. It was more like about personal, like having to, you know, maintain this job, like, cause she's never really been able to maintain like a really good, stable job herself because of her own issues. So she was really excited about this, you know, and those were the type of conversations that we were trying to have just to kind of stay positive. But I know that the biggest issue that she would tell me when she was venting to me was about him not being able to provide. I think at some point, once he started working, like he would spend money on stupid shit. It was always very financial, the issue that she would vent to me.
Gotcha. How was... All right, so when they broke up and got back together, when roughly was that? Do you remember? The last couple of weeks, months, year?
No. He had moved out. He had been out the house. Because remember, he went upstairs for like maybe 4 months. And then he had been out the house already for like, I think like between 7 or 8 months before I started seeing him again. Like it was like, I want to say between 6 or 8 months before I started seeing him again.
All right, so within the last couple months, say December of last year up until now, how often do you think you would see him?
Maybe a total of 3 times, maybe. I think.
Anything like significant why he would be coming back? Or just random times? Or
I think the first 2 times I believe he just would stop by. I want to say.
Did Jen say why he would come by?
No, if I saw him, it was because I literally physically saw him, like sitting in the chair where he sit, and I like again just, hey, good Jen, good, and then just go upstairs.
Okay. All right. What's your work schedule like throughout? Like, is it pretty consistent or? Yeah,
I have to be because I go by my son's schedule.
Oh, okay.
So I try to be out the house between 7:45. Well, I have to be out the house by 7:50. But like 7:45 is the time that I'm trying to like be out, and from there, I drop my son off here so that my parents can take him to school. He needs to be at school by 9, and I start work at 9.
Gotcha.
So I'm typically here between 8:15 and 8:20, and then it takes me about 30-40 minutes to get to work, depending on traffic. I work in Ocoee, the office in Ocoee. So I'm there until Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm there between 9. I get there and 3:30. On Wednesdays, I'm there between 9 and 2:30 because Wednesday's is early day.
Early day, right?
Yeah.
And I'm assuming he goes to the street right down school right down the street. Okay.
Yeah. So that's pretty much the office work. Once I'm done with that, we either have dinner here or I make something at home. So we could be home between, and that's like, let's say if I don't have to pick anything up, we're home between 6 and 7. We're home between 6 and 7. I finish like an hour of work. He finishes his homework. Then we start getting ready for bed, and we're tucked in by 8:30. I either fall asleep with him, or I stay up watching TV and finishing work until I fall asleep.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. I'm gonna now dig into kind of more detailed information. But before I start that, I know you and Jen are friends. You and Stefan aren't necessarily friends. You and Angelica are kind of acquaintances too. And these type of investigations and the seriousness of some of these crimes, we need to get very, very detailed on specific things. Okay. I'm not going to ask you any uncomfortable things, which I don't think are uncomfortable. If you don't feel comfortable at answering some of the things, just let me know, and we can see if we can work around it. Okay. All right. So when this the weekend of February 25th, 26th ish. So let's say that's Saturday. So we could go from Saturday.
Okay.
Okay. You were still staying at the townhome? Is that what you want to call it?
The townhouse,
okay.
Yeah.
You were still staying there, I'm assuming. Living there, I guess you could.
Saturday, before everything happened, or yes. I was still living there up to recently.
Okay.
I moved out because I don't want to be in that house.
Right. Okay, so that's Saturday. Walk me through Saturday.
Okay. I want to say Saturday the 20th. Can I check to see the tickets for...
Yeah, absolutely.
My son likes anime, and a new Demon Slayer movie came out. I just don't know if it was that weekend or the last weekend. These last couple of days have been like one blur. Okay, so today is what day?
Today,
the 7th. Okay.
That Saturday would have been the 24th. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, the 24th. Correct.
The Saturday was the 24th, which means I had tickets to go to South Chase at 7:20. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, we were watching this movie at the South Chase Theater.
Okay, in the evening of the Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were there for 2 hours starting at 7. Well, it's like an hour and 45 minutes starting at 7:30.
Okay. During the day, were you at home?
Let me think that day. Because we had a late evening, I believe... I'm just trying to think because we're always like in and out. If I was home between... We left by 6:15. So from 6, okay. Because was that Sunday? No. I'm trying to think because we went to Lake Eola. Give me 1 second. Let me look up my financials. I pay everything with cards, so.
I don't think anybody pays cash for anything nowadays.
There's some places that don't even accept it. It's kind of scary. Okay, the 24th. Let's see. Okay. Okay, I don't have anything on that day, so that means we went. Could we have gone that day?
So did anything as significant happen on Saturday that you could think of other than...
No, we were really just getting ready for this movie. I know that I at some point wished Maddie a happy belated birthday. I don't remember if that was Friday or Saturday, but I remember that because I felt bad because I had missed her birthday. But no, we probably woke up early. I don't have any transactions, meaning we went for a walk. Came home, took a shower, started doing my stuff that I typically do on Saturday nights. I was doing it before, so that we can be ready for the movie. But nothing seemed out of normal. Okay.
Now Sunday, you see the movie Saturday night. Do you go back home Saturday night, or did you come here?
No.
I come back home. Okay. Yeah. So Sunday, walk me through Sunday. What you did that day?
Pretty sure we went to the Lake Eola Park.
Morning, afternoon,
in the
evening?
morning.
Okay.
Yeah. they have, I think you guys know, they have like a market, a farmer's market. So there was this, he didn't like anything at the farmer's market, and he saw sushi on the way there. So we wanted to stop by sushi. We ate, we were there until I want to say 12:30, 1 o'clock. And then we started heading back home. I'm trying to think. The moment that like, okay, let me think.
So, I'll just try to help you out a little bit. When you get home, is anybody home?
No, okay. I got home a little bit on the earlier side because we had gone out so early, and we had been walking around, so my son was tired, and we kind of just ended up staying home by like by 6:30. Like we're watching a movie, snuggled up. By again 8 o'clock, he's knocking out, and my Mondays are always really hard, so I try to get some sleep before. But like I didn't see anybody there when I got there.
At any point that night, did anybody come home that you know of?
I never really I always keep the TV so loud, which I'm not doing anymore. But no, in my little corner, I never really paid attention, I guess. But no, I once my son falls asleep, I can rest and I just kind of knock out or go into my own little world.
Do you keep your TV on all night?
I have a really bad habit, yeah.
Okay. All right. At any point on Sunday evening, Sunday night, did you see Angelica, Jen, Maddie, or Stefan at all? No. Okay.
I didn't even know Stefan was here.
Okay. So Monday morning when you wake up, you said you are adamant that you got to leave by 7:45. Okay. So your routine, I know there's a bathroom upstairs. I don't think it's necessarily attached to your room, right? You got to come out of your bedroom to go to the bathroom?
No, it's inside.
Okay, so yours is
It's
inside.
a master.
Got it. Okay. So your routine is get up, you do whatever in the bathroom, come out, get changed, get your son ready, and you guys go. Okay. Now, when you go and you're leaving your bedroom, did you see anybody that morning?
No.
Okay. Did you hear anybody that morning?
No.
Okay. When you were coming out of your room, you have to pass bedrooms 3 and 4. Is that right? Okay. Were either of their doors open?
No.
So they were closed, or you don't know?
They were closed.
Okay. When you walked downstairs and you were going out to leave, was Jen's dog wandering around anywhere?
Jen's dog is typically sleeping next to the couch.
Okay.
But I don't remember seeing him.
Okay.
I usually see him on the couch. So if I tell you I saw, it's because I typically see him on the couch. But I can't really say if I remember seeing him.
Now, when you leave, do you remember if Jen's door was open or closed?
Her door is always closed, with this much of space, so that the cat can come out.
Okay. Do you happen to look, be nosy or whatever it may be, and you can look towards that to see if the door is open, or could you see anybody inside, hear anybody inside?
No, it was like any other morning.
Okay.
And I just
leave. Okay. And how confident are you that you left around 7:45 that morning?
I have a meeting first thing in the morning on Mondays. Give me 1 second. I can tell you because my boss typically texts me, and if I'm waiting outside for a parking spot, it's always around 9:05. But yeah, because it was Monday, I'm up and I had been sleeping late. Okay. Yeah, I had to have left on time because I was at work on time.
Okay, now when you say you're leaving on time, you're leaving right at 7:45 or before that?
Right at 7:45.
Okay. Did anything seem out of place downstairs? Did you see something that may be on a counter or a table or anything that you don't really see on a daily basis? No.
The table is typically cluttered with stuff, whether it's like Valentine's Day stuff or whatever arts Maddie was doing. No, it didn't feel any different. It felt like just another day.
Okay. All right, let's get into Maddie. Anytime when you would leave to go to school, have you ever seen Maddie getting ready in the morning for school or anything like that?
So Maddie typically wakes up when I'm about to like head out. I make my son's lunches, so I'm like downstairs by like 7:40 making lunches. And sometimes I would see Maddie get up, but then sometimes she was late. So it was really yes and no. And then I think that there were times where she may have been sleeping over her grandma's house. So like...
Where would Maddie typically sleep?
In her room.
In the little partition area. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever seen Maddie get ready for school or anything like that?
No, I think she would get ready in her mom's room.
Okay.
Yeah, no, like if I'm downstairs, it's for that moment, and then I go back upstairs.
All right. Do you know, or have you ever talked to either Maddie or Jen, when Maddie gets ready for school, like when she would get dressed for school, if you know or if you heard, would she just go in her closet, pick out what she's going to wear for the day, or do you know how that would work?
So, not really, because I wasn't involved with like I wasn't in Jen's room watching her get her daughter's stuff ready to know. I know, what I do know is that Maddie loved clothes and she loved looking nice, and I can imagine that she would pick out her own clothes. I don't see Jen being the one picking out her clothes.
Do you think Maddie would lay out her clothes the day before to go to school? Or?
I would see her being that type of person. Have I ever seen it? No. But Maddie liked clothes. And I say that because she would we had that in common. Like, I would go downstairs and like try something on for her.
Where would she normally keep her clothes?
She had I call it a bureau, but it's drawers, where the TV was. And I want to say she had little drawers on the side, like little plastic ones. I think she may have some stuff in Jen's closet. I don't know, but I want to say that's where she had her clothes, because she had like a whole drawer set in her room, in her little partition area.
So when you would leave to go to work or make breakfast or make lunches downstairs, where would Maddie typically be?
In her mom's room at that point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you ever see her sleeping in her own bed that's down there?
I mean, I've seen her a lot in that area. A lot of the times that I was down there, it was throughout the daytime. If it was into the evening, she would be like on her computer. But no, I mean, no, I guess she had the area closed off too, so I guess I never really saw her tuck in. Like, I was always like in and out. I mean, she would be in there all the time, but as far as like a full night's sleep, I guess I don't know. I wasn't paying attention.
Did they ever talk about if Maddie would sleep with Jen?
I mean, I want to say yeah. I want to say yeah because their alarm, whenever Maddie's alarm would go off, it would go off in her mom's room.
Mm-hmm. Do you know roughly what time her alarm would go off?
Like 7:40, like 7:35, 7:40.
Okay.
Only because I heard it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's around the time that I'm getting ready to leave.
Got it. Okay. And typically, Maddie would be in mom's room.
Whenever, yeah, like in the mornings, yeah.
Okay. Have you ever known? Before I answer that, what was the relationship between Stefan and Maddie?
I always saw him because they had been in each other's and he had been in Jen's life for such a long time. I always kind of felt like that was a father figure to her. I say that, like I say that really brokenhearted right now, but that's the way I saw it. Like I saw him, making food and like taking out the dogs, taking out the trash, and like being that type of person in that, like that type of role in their lives. I think that there wasn't a moment where I felt like he could ever hurt her.
So when Maddie's alarm clock would go off when she's getting ready for school, and you're saying she's sleeping with mom, would Stefan also be in the room?
So for the last couple months, like I didn't even know they were together because if he was there, it was for that moment. Like he wasn't staying overnight. Like in the last couple of months where I would hear the alarm ringing, Jen was by herself. Mm-hmm. Jen would sleep with Maddie because Jen didn't like to sleep by herself. But as far as when he was living there, they made that whole area for her so that she can sleep there. I never ever thought she wasn't sleeping there while they were together because they had made that whole area for her. When these last couple months that I've noticed Maddie sleeping in Jen's room is because she was by herself. It never occurred to me that if they were ever like in the same bed together like that, because they had made this area for her. And at some point he was sleeping on the couch, like, so it's nuts.
At any point did you ever see Stefan alone with Maddie?
There was only one time where I had sent a message to Jen. I want to say I couldn't sleep. I was going to the gym and they were playing Atari. Like I heard them playing Atari. And the door was like partially closed. And I texted Jen. I was like, hey, I just want to make sure you're okay with this because, I grew up in a very different household. Like my dad doesn't play. So that's just the way I was raised. So I sent her a message. I was like, hey, are you good with this? Like, are you okay with her being in his room?
So this is the room upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Those were around the time that they were broken up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say.
And what did Jen say?
I mean, I can pull it up, but I'm pretty sure it was thank you, friend, you're good. To that, like I can pull it up if you want me to pull it in.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
But that's the only time where I questioned anything really, because again, the way I was raised, we don't play that.
Have you and Jen communicated after all this happened?
Like after...
Anytime last week after Monday.
I've been heavily trying to help the family, help my best friend. And I'm not really, like, I don't know how you console somebody that just lost a kid. Like, I can't imagine how it feels. I don't ever want to know how it feels. The only thing I've spoken to her is just, you know, I'm here. Like, whatever you need, getting clothes from her house, like, I'm here to help. That's, like, as far as the communication with her, how it's been.
Did she ever tell you what happened?
I don't, like, I'm speaking to you coming from a place of not knowing anything. Like, I've been very much affected by it because I myself, like, you know, have a history of abuse. So, like, I always told myself that, like, you know, I would protect myself and my son from this. So it being so close to me, it's affected me in ways that I didn't think it would. I think if you click on it, it'll take you to, like, that moment.
Did you have any other text messages between you and Jen about Maddie or Steven or anything like that?
No.
Okay. All right. So Sunday night, going into Monday morning, did anything stand out to you? Did you hear any noises? Did you hear anybody walking upstairs or downstairs? Or when's the first time you heard about Maddie going missing?
Stephanie called me, I think, around 6:30 Monday, asking me if Maddie had gone home because they were looking for her and she never made it to school. The moment that call came in, I went straight downstairs and I checked the bathroom, Jen's room, and her room.
Did you see anything that looked different to you?
It was weird because it was like everything was bundled up, and I don't know if this is how she typically, like, kept this shit.
When you're talking about her, is that Maddie or Jen?
Yes, Maddie. Okay. Maddie's bed. It was just bundled up like if somebody was there. So when I went to grab it, thinking maybe it was, you know, it was a whole bunch of, like, clothes or like blankets rolled up.
Was that normal?
Maddie wasn't, like, always the most tidiest person. And she kept that partition pretty close to not be able to see it. Like, Maddie struggled with, like, organization and stuff. But it was weird because I was looking, like, at that point I'm looking for her and I see, like, clothes bundled up and I'm like, oh my God, yeah, it's her. Like, but no, I wouldn't be able to say if that's her usual thing or not. But it was just, to me at that moment, weird because, like, she's missing and this thing is bundled up, like, if she's supposed to act like she's there or something like that, you know, like, it was just really weird at that point. But I mean, for me to sit back and think if she ever kept, like, sometimes she didn't do her bed. She always had pillows, like, all over her bed. Should have paid more attention.
When you left, do you know what kind of car Steven drives, Stefan?
So I end up finding out he's driving this, well, I don't know if it's Lincoln or whatever, but from when I've known him to the last time that I thought I saw him before this whole thing, it was a brown Honda Civic 4-door. And it had, like, a bump on the front. The fender.
Okay. When you left, do you know what Jennifer drives?
Yes.
Okay. The white Nissan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When you left Monday morning, did you see those cars outside?
I don't remember if I saw her car. So typically she parks in the handicap next, like right there. Mm-hmm. But there's been a van parking there. And like, oh my God. I don't remember if I saw her car or not.
Mm. What about Stefan's car?
I didn't see the Honda because apparently he wasn't in the Honda.
Mm. Do you remember seeing the silver car? The Lincoln?
No, I don't remember because I've never seen that car before. And I wouldn't, like, it wouldn't stand out to me. I don't like that car.
Mm-hmm. All right, circling back to, so Stefan is pretty much living at this house up until, according to you, 6-8 months ago. Now, did you ever see Maddie coming and going from his room or Jen's room? I know you said the only time that you've known them to be together is when you text Jennifer about that time. Mm-hmm. Is there any other times that you would see them together? No, it was always like they were always like the three of them. Like it wasn't. No, and I'm thinking like these last 2 years, right? Like if I ever saw Maddie was either with Jen or she had just came from like going out with her grandpa or being with like Aloysia, and like if he was there, they were there together. All right. Did you hear about the birthday party Sunday?
I ended up hearing about it, but I wasn't invited because it was like super close family only.
Okay.
But I ended up.
Did Jen go to the party?
I think she was working.
Okay.
I think she was working.
This is the job that she's working at Disney. Mm-hmm. Okay. Jen, do you know if she takes any medication?
I believe she's depressed. I want to say it's either bipolar or ADHD or a combination. Mm-hmm. But she does take prescribed medication from her feedback to me throughout the years.
Gotcha. Has she ever tell you like how this medicine affects her?
I know that she struggled for a little bit trying to find like a good medication for her because it would affect either her appetite or her sleeping. She would feel really drowsy. Mm-hmm. She struggled a little bit there. I believe she got with a really good therapist that like really understood her and got her on something that she was able to work with. Because I feel like she was doing better. Like she got this job and she was feeling really good.
All right. Has she ever said any kind of medicine that she takes would either keep her awake or put her to sleep or anything like that?
Yeah, there was medication that would just make her feel super drowsy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is
that recently or in the past? Or?
It was when she was struggling a lot with it. There was a night where somebody was trying to get into her car. Like, it was super random. And I was, again, heading to the gym, like, at 1 o'clock in the morning. And I see it, and, like, I'm like, oh, like, I'm crazy. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. But I'm like, I deterred them from actually breaking in. And I went inside, and I was like, Jen. And, like, she was super, super sleepy. And she had mentioned to me that there was a medication that, like, made her feel super sleepy.
When was this?
That was, like, oh, my God. Stefan was still living upstairs because he had came down and he was like, I'm going to drive around just to make sure they're out. I was like, all right, bet. But Stefan was still there. Okay.
Did Maddie take any medication? Do you know?
I think she needed help, like, sleeping, because there was medication that she needed in order to have, like, a good night's sleep. Mm-hmm. I believe according to her, like the feedback that I've received throughout the years, that she does have like ADHD. So she does need something for focus. But those were the only two that I understood as far as from her feedback. Did
Maddie or Jen ever talk to you about the medicine that Maddie takes?
Not in detail, like as far as the name of it or anything like that. I just know that she would vent if like they missed it, and then she would feel the after effects of not being able to sleep or anything like that. Like that's when we would talk about it. When it's like, oh man, like I gotta get Maddie back on the regimen, because if not, like she's not gonna get sleep, things like that.
Gotcha.
But it was never like details as far as like I don't know what it was or anything like that.
Did Jennifer ever talk about Maddie to you at all?
Very general motherhood stuff. Nothing like super, like it was always very much like, oh my god, school, and the kids growing up, and Maddie with her struggles and ADHD, and then my son is on the spectrum, so we kind of bonded over that, like different like research stuff that like that's how we bonded, is because she's really good at that. She likes to know stuff, and I like to know people that know stuff. So but it like teenage like attitudes, excited for trips type, trying to think like anything super like dramatic or anything, because there was never anything about like boyfriends or anything like that. Like we still looked at the kids like babies, like kids. We would take them to the pool all the time. Like let them kind of just chill. But
did Maddie and Jen ever argue at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think that they had their share of mother-daughter arguments. At least that's how I perceived it. Being that like a mom now and still a daughter, like I always perceived it as that. I never heard anything that made me think it wasn't outside of that. But yeah, they would have their arguments.
All right. Now getting to the more difficult questions. It's always out on the news and stuff like that Stefan may have. Okay. What do you know about that? And here's where I want you to, as tough as it may be very detailed and truthful for me.
I never would have thought that. Like, I have my own trust issues, right? Because of my own experiences. And you think that you have like a good power of discernment and trying to like spot this shit out. I never thought that anything would be inappropriate. Like, if I ever saw him do anything, was just be like a fatherly figure in a way to her. It is deeply upsetting to think that. And like I said, I have my own reservations. I don't bring people around my son like that for my own reasons. I only trust that my friends do their due diligence with the people that bring around their kids, because obviously it affects us. But I would have never thought about like him really doing stuff with her like that. Like, I don't know, like, I never, thinking about it, like, it just makes me feel stupid.
You can't blame yourself, though.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
No, I wish I would have fucking, like, saw or something. I would have just paid more attention or something.
At any point, did Jennifer tell you that she may have known?
No. I mean, I'm very vocal, like, on the way I feel about stuff. And I'm saying about our kids, man. No.
Have you ever told anybody outside of your family or Jen's family or anything like that that you may have known about?
No, I mean, I never would imagine that this would be happening. There was the text message that I showed you.
Mm-hmm.
Stephanie's my best friend. So I remember calling her and just letting her know, like, hey, I sent this message to your sister. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't want beef. And if it creates beef or anything like that, or you never know how people are going to react when you tell them how to parent or anything like that. Mm-hmm. So I gave her a heads up because I wanted her to know, and I'm always very much open with my friends. So I had that exact same text message that you saw. That's exactly what I told her. And I told her what Jen replied. Mm-hmm. But that's as far as, like, because that's the only time where I even questioned anything, just because of the way that I feel about stuff. I have my own reservations. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, no, that's it.
Okay, and the reason I ask is somebody called it, as you can imagine, this is a very high profile case. Okay. There's people reaching out from all over the country, whatever it may be. But somebody called in a tip to me saying that you may have told somebody that you knew what was going on. Mm-mm. Okay. Promise.
This guy looked at me in my face, knowing everything that he did to Maddie. Mm-hmm. And he looked at me like if he had no idea. Like, this guy is a fucking monster, and I'll never forget that.
What do you mean he looked you in the face? When?
So we were trying to figure out what happened with Maddie. And, like, I'm very I internalize a lot. So I'm sitting on the thing, on the stairs, and I'm just like, I'm in like a daze, because, like, it doesn't feel real. Like, it's just none of this is normal. And, like, I stand up. I had to wake up early the next day because I had an appointment in Osceola County. So it was Monday night. Once everything starts, like Maddie's lost. And I stand up, and I told Jen, like, just let me know how I can help tomorrow once I'm done with the meeting. Like, we'll pass out flyers. Like, we'll do everything we can to try to help her find her. And this man, like he looks at me in my eyes and tells me, like, are you okay? And I'm like, look at him, and I'm like, no. Like, I was like, no, like.
What was his demeanor?
Oh, like, concerned, but he ended up getting, like, stupid high at some point throughout the night. so he was very numb. But
how do you know he was high throughout the night?
Because the way his eyes were, very zoned out. He was high on something. But
did you see him throughout the night?
He was literally there with us. There.
This is Monday night, or what night is
Monday
this?
night.
Okay.
Yes, he's there. And he's acting concerned, and me and Angelica are Jen is in pieces, and no, sir, I promise you that I'm not gonna say this, but I don't like that shit, bro. Oh, fuck it, I'll kill him. Bro, I would have killed him myself if I knew anything, dog. I promise you.
Did you see, other than... I keep going back to Monday morning. And so when you were getting ready for your day, you didn't see or hear anybody. Do you remember what time you woke up?
At 6:45. My son wakes up by 6:30. He's already in the shower by the time I wake up.
Have you talked to your son about this?
Very much. It's very light. My son's on the spectrum, so he takes things in very quickly. And not that he forgets about it, but he compartmentalizes it and keeps it moving. He's well aware, but the emotion side of it is a little bit disconnected, just because that's the way he kind of is. But
what do you think, he would have went downstairs at any point before you did?
No.
Mm-mm. Okay. What kind of sleeper is he? Is he
deep? Knocks out. Always been a good sleeper.
All right. So you wake up 6:45. You do your morning routine. Did you fix lunches and stuff like that day? Okay, and you didn't see anybody. No. So when you fix lunches, is that right before you guys walk out the door, or okay? So if you're leaving at 7:45, so 7:15, 7:30 fixing lunches, or
no, 7:35 to 7:40. I'm downstairs. It's a quick sandwich. Everything else is packaged. So I just grab everything, put it in there, go upstairs, get them out the door by 7:45.
Okay.
So it's all within 10 minutes, pretty much.
Okay. And you didn't see Steven or Maddie at that point. Could you hear if any tussling around, if Maddie was getting ready for school, or if Steven was getting ready to take Maddie to school or anything like that? Would you have heard it?
I mean, I was every time I saw Maddie, I would address her. I would say, "Good morning, babe. Good. How you doing? You okay?" If I would have seen Maddie, I would have addressed her. So yes, 100%.
Okay, so the times that you've heard Maddie maybe waking up or anything like that, is it noisy?
When the only reason I see is because I see her coming out.
So, but Monday morning, dead silence, or
I didn't see her at all.
Okay. Dogs barking, cat meowing, anything?
No, at that time, Sailor is not barking. The cat is still typically in Jen's room.
Do you think Maddie was home when you left?
There had been days where she had slept over her grandma's house. So to be honest with you, I didn't think she was home.
Have you ever known Maddie to say, "Hey, I want to go to school early"? No. Have you ever known Maddie to like fast food at all?
Fast food? Starbucks. Like if we ever went to McDonald's, we'd get some nuggets or McFlurries. I mean, it wouldn't be something like she would take. Like I have never seen her not be okay with fast food. Like it.
Got it. Just like any other kid.
Right, right. Like it. Was it constant? No. I think that because we were always like downstairs cooking and stuff. I would think that Jen was cooking for her and stuff. But I mean, I think if she consumed fast food, it was fairly normal. It wasn't like out of the ordinary.
Have you ever heard Jen tell Maddie or anything like that she wanted Maddie to go sleep somewhere else so Jen could get a good night's sleep?
No. If Maddie was sleeping somewhere else, it's because either Jen had to work late or she was just sleeping over Grandma's house. But I've never. No.
Have you ever known Maddie to sleep with Jen and Stefan in the same bed?
I've never known about that. I have had so many thoughts in my head since everything happened. I don't want to like confuse what I felt before with what I feel now. But no, like in my head, the way this went was that somebody was sleeping on the couch before they opened the partition area. They opened the partition area so that Maddie can sleep there. Like that's how things went in my head.
What is your gut telling you what happened?
It's very confusing in a sense of like, because this man looked at me in my eyes with no like acting like he didn't just do what he did. I feel very insecure. Just in general, the way I view people, I guess. Maybe I'm not as smart as I thought I was type. I just feel really insecure about everything because it just makes me feel like anything I ever knew was not right. Like if this was really going on, like, and we didn't see anything, like, that's how I feel. I feel a lot of guilt. Like, I feel like, man, were we just not paying attention? Like, I don't know. That's
do you think Steven had something to do with this?
What?
Do you think Stefan had anything to do with this?
Oh, my God.
Taking the equation out, what you know now.
Right.
Leading up to it.
Like, before everything went down, dude, I would have never thought that this would happen. I would have never thought that he was capable of doing anything to her.
Do you think Jennifer had anything to do with this?
No, bro. No. It's impossible, bro. No.
Why do you say that?
Because we're not like that. Like, we're not, dude. Like, we love our kids. No, that would break my heart.
I'm not saying she did. I'm just asking.
I know, but no, I can't see her. I can't see her being okay with this. No. I can't see her being okay with this. I can't see her allowing this to happen.
Have you seen any of the interviews on the news that Jennifer's done?
There was a snippet, and I literally came across it because it just appeared. I mean, I know Jen. I know, at least what I know of Jen is I know when she's nervous, right? I know when she's not okay. And what I saw there was someone that, and again, it's a snippet. I haven't seen all of them. I don't know how many she did. And I think that, I mean,
I've spoken to her several times already. Sometimes when we're speaking, she seems a little disconnected. Is that normal?
So a lot of, and maybe this was my mistake, but a lot of the, if there's any type of like disconnection, I would say would be because of the medication. Like if I ever felt like she was just like not like a little bit out there, I would always atone it to like the medication that she was on. Is that quite often, or very rare, or? I thought she was doing really well recently. No, like in the most recent months, me speaking to her, she was very clear, very cohesive, like communicating back, being happy in a sense, like in a better mood. No, I mean, and again, seeing her now, I atone that to either maybe over medicating or being severely depressed, or like it's not her normal self. But yeah, if there's ever been time in the past where I felt like we were having conversation and she was kind of out there, I thought it would be because of the medication.
Have you ever noticed any change in either Jen's demeanor or Maddie's demeanor when Stefan moved out?
I would think that it was because of them actually being broken up and her having her space and not having him upstairs. Like, I do feel like it was a better mood, a better situation. Again, I saw her in like a better light, but did
she seem happier, sad, angry?
I think there was moments where she felt lonely, maybe. After being with someone for so long, I can't imagine breaking up and stuff and then having to be alone. But I would say that. I would say feel lonely. But all in all, I want to say it was like a good move. Like it was a good thing. Like,
did Jennifer ever talk to you about her and Stefan's sex life at all?
No.
Okay. Did she ever talk to you about her sex life in general at all?
I mean, I know her like sexual orientation, right? But that's as far as like we talk in regards to that. Okay. I don't really honestly talk to my friends too much about that.
That makes sense.
Like super intimate, no. But we know each other's orientation and what we like.
Got it. Now, for Jen, does she like boys or girls? Both?
Both.
Okay. Any idea about Stefan? Boys, girls, both?
I don't know.
No? Okay.
No.
Did Jen ever tell you that she's sexually active still?
No. If I would assume if she was, it would have been with Stefan. But I mean, we didn't talk about anybody new or anything like that. Like, as far as I know, she was on the Lonely Island. Like, we were all.
Has she ever told you that her sex drive is gone or anything like that?
So I think at some point she had mentioned that as far as like part of like the symptoms.
When did she mention this to you?
During the time that she was having a difficult time with her medication, trying to find something out. But it was very like it was just one of the symptoms. Like, we didn't go into it because again, we didn't really like, we don't go into like super sexual stuff.
Right. Gotcha. Is there anything that I need to know regarding this case that we haven't talked about today that you think?
No, if anything, I have questions. But
what questions do you have? Some I may not be able to answer.
No,
but
I don't. I've been so like with blinders on, and I told myself that once I moved out of that place that I could like accept new information.
Are you completely moved out? Like all your stuff gone?
Yeah. I'm supposed to help Angelica between 1 or 2 to move out the rest of her stuff.
Because I need to talk to her again today too. And I keep calling her, and maybe because I leave messages in English, and she doesn't really speak much English.
Right, she doesn't. Yeah. Yes, I'm completely moved out, and I feel like I want information, but then no, then I get scared and I don't want any information. No. I mean, whatever you need to really get justice for her. I mean, okay. To really close it, whatever.
That's my job.
I wish I would. Fuck. I don't know anything.
I just want to make sure that 100%, because obviously when tips come in and mention you by name, I just want to make sure that you're being 100% honest with us. And even if you did, you're not going to get in trouble for not saying anything. It's just, we need to know those type of details. You know?
No, this was the only thing that I wanted to make sure.
Did you tell anybody about that message other than
only
the gents?
Stephanie.
Okay.
And like I said, that was mainly just me. Like, I always felt like, okay, I'll be like the double lookout, make sure the kids are good, like have extra eyes on the kids. Like, this is a situation that I would have never wanted my kid to go through. Like, I get how severely this can affect you in life, and like, thank God that my situation was resolved. But like, I never wanted our kids to be this close to this shit, and I feel like I always prided myself to be more like, to have like that third eye, like to look out for danger type shit, to like be protective of our kids. And like, it's very upsetting that anything that happened. Like, it, like I said, I'm really insecure right now. Like, I don't feel like everything that I've known in my life, like I'm questioning.
Now, one quick question: that you say you sleep with the TV on all night, and it's loud or whatever. How do you hear your alarm?
I keep my phone like right next to me, and then my son wakes me up too.
Okay. All right. Can you think of anything else? What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you my cell phone number, okay? Mm-hmm. Feel free to call or text me anytime, day or night. If you can remember the slightest little detail that we did not talk about today, mm-hmm. Would you mind please calling me or texting me and let me know, like, whatever that may be? Okay. It is 12:03 p.m. We're going to conclude this interview.